All right, so with the lymphatic drainage exercise, we always start with some cardio, get everything moving. So we're just going to start by marching in place a little bit. You can sit in your chair and march as well if you would like. It's entirely up to you. The point here is to get your body moving, get all your liquids in your body moving, and we can chit chat a little bit while we're going. And one of the things I wanted to talk about this morning with the lymphatic drainage, it's very important if you're predisposed because of radiation or lymph node removal, that you want to be careful of where you carry your bags. So for instance, if you've had breast cancer on your right side, then you're going to want to make sure you don't carry any bags or have any straps or pull on anything on that right side of the body. That'll help decrease our chance of getting edema on that side of the body. So you're always going to carry your nice light purse or backpack on your other shoulder if you have not had any kind of surgery, removal, or radiation on that side. The other thing you want to be careful of is what you're wearing. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure you're not wearing things that are too tight. Now, I know as we get a little older and things shift around a little bit, sometimes we have the tendency to want to hold on to that old brassiere or that old whatever. And it's fine if the elastic goes, but if you're wearing something that's too tight because of your body change, then you're going to want to be really careful. You don't want to wear stuff that's tight on the side that you've had the problem. Okay, so be careful of that. We do need to get refitted for our bras occasionally for weight gain or weight loss or just muscle change. So don't be afraid. You don't have to hang on to that old stuff forever. You can get rid of it when it wears out. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're working around edema. So it doesn't have to be cancer or radiation or lymph node removal. Some people will also have diabetic neuropathies. They may have swelling in their feet from having diabetes. So we really want to make sure that we're keeping all this fluids moving. And also, if it's at all possible, to lose some weight. We're carrying extra weight on our body, then that is going to build up potential fluid edema from that, or just from having all that extra fluids in your body. So is it all possible to take a little weight off? That may also help decrease the chance of having any edema. So we're walking for 5 minutes. So that's why you get your 5-minute lecture here at the beginning. We're warming up. Now you can also, excuse me, be seated, or you can use a Bosu ball, or if you have a little AirX pad that's uneven, you can also walk on one of those. If you had a mini tramp, that would be another item you could use. So basically, we're just trying to get things pumping using our arms and our legs. So let's also start to pay a little bit of attention to our breathing here and start thinking about big breaths in and big breaths out. Now, I might be walking a little fast for you, and that's fine. Maybe you're here. Whatever works for you. And remember, we're not stomping our feet down. We are rolling a little bit through our feet, not exaggerating, but getting everything moving. The pumping motion of our arms is also helpful. All right, good. So now you can stand or sit. We're gonna do our crunches. So thumbs on the ribs, middle finger down on those hips. And remember, it's like squeezing that sponge in half. It doesn't have to be exaggerated or big. It's just a squeezing of the abdominal area, moving out any liquid that's hanging around there. I do have soft knees. You can most definitely do this in the chair. You don't really need your hands there. It's just a good guide. And I like it too because it reminds me to stand back up tall as opposed to staying a little bit crunched. So make sure you're getting all the way back up to standing. Squeeze. A couple more. And last one. All right, so now we're going to tuck our hips. So we've done this plenty of times in other classes before. So if you put your hand on your lower abdominals and your hand on your lower back, You can kind of just feel the hips rotating front and back. So here I'm rotating back and I'm tucking forward. Soft knees, just rock back gently. You don't have to put your hands there, just putting them there to show you what I'm doing. And rock it back and forward. This is great if you have any lower back pain too. Nice and gentle. And one more. Good. All right, so I'm going to sit down now. You can stand or sit, whichever you prefer. I'll just go with the majority here. So we're going to start with shoulder rolls. Nice roll back. Nice big range of motion. Should feel good. You should feel yourself want to inhale right there at the top. Good, and one more. And now let's reverse directions. Don't forget the back part. It's always easy to forget the front when you're going forward and the back when you're going the opposite direction. So try to make it a nice big circle, not an egg. And two more. Good, and then I always like to finish off by putting things back where they belong. And check in with those hips too here. We want a nice neutral spine while we're seated. You don't always think about it. So sit tall, your spine should be nice lower back, little curve there. Now I'm gonna take one hand and put it on my chest and the other hand and put it on my lower abs. So we're just gonna do some really nice deep breaths here. So you're gonna allow your chest hand and your stomach hand to come out, okay? So inhaling. Allow that belly to come out. Exhaling, allow that to come in. So inhaling. Hands kind of going up, other hands going out. Bring that belly in, and then that chest comes down. Squeezing it all out. Now you might feel like you're making some silly noises, and that's okay, because I've muted you anyway. But go ahead, let that air vibrate across those vocal cords, across the back of that throat. And a nice easy breath in, good. Sometimes it's good to feel that volume of air that's coming in and out. All right, so hands down by our sides, nice and relaxed. You can get those shoulders down the back where you want them. And now we're going to make sure our chin's back where it should be too. So make sure you're not jutting forward, sit up tall, and then we're going to raise those shoulders up towards your ears and then relax. So scrunch up and relax. And you should feel those shoulder blades in the back sliding down. Sometimes you'll hear workout professionals talking about putting them in your back pocket. So those shoulder blades down and relax. You should feel them rotating a little bit here and then nice and flat. And one more. Good. Now we're going to reach our fingertips down for the floor. So we're going to little tiny depression in the shoulders and then relax. So it's like somebody's pushing right at the very end of those shoulders, just gently reaching down, or somebody's pushing a heavy weight down. So reaching, elongating that neck and relax. And again, work at your own pace. You do fewer but longer ones, that's fine. Just getting everything moving, doing a little stretching here. And last one, reaching down. Good. All right, we're going to skip to those circles next. So nice big circles forward. Reaching those fingertips out towards those walls. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Good. And if you need to, stop and take a rest. Otherwise, we're reversing direction. And try to make those circles be like you're drawing circles on the side walls, not on the front wall. We're not up here. We're all the way out to the side, like somebody's pulling those arms apart. Good, and relax it down. I was like, when we do warrior two, we're reaching our hands in opposite directions. That was what that one should feel like when you're doing that one. All right, excellent. So now we're going to bring our hands into the chest. Their palms together. And again, we don't want to hold our breath on these, so make sure you continue to breathe. We're going to squeeze our chest. So squeeze and release. So if you squeeze the palms together, squeeze and release. You should feel tension in your chest, your upper back, your shoulders, your arms. Squeeze and release. You may even feel it down into your abdominals. And squeeze and release. And remember, we don't want our shoulders to creep up. We already did our shoulder shrugs. Squeeze and release. And how about one more? Squeeze and release. Good. Let's take a nice deep breath here. And one more. Good. All right, now we're going to bring our hands out. Now my elbows are pretty much out to the sides, maybe not quite, but they're out there. So think of being here and then rotating your hands down. That'll give you a good picture. So you're at the football goal and then the hands come down. All right. And on this one, we're also going to squeeze and release, but think about pushing those elbows back, but they don't really go back, and release. So you're pushing against the wall behind you with the elbows and release it. Push and release. So I'm just going to turn sideways, squeeze and release. So hopefully you can see a little bit better there. Not really pulling them back much, just like someone's pushing against my elbows and I'm pushing against them. And you'll feel this in your upper back, your mid back, your shoulders, your chest, maybe your abdominals. Squeeze, release, and let's do one more. Squeeze, breathing, and release. Really important on those not to hold your breath. Anytime we squeeze, we want to hold our breath too. So sometimes we have to really concentrate on making sure we continue to breathe. All right, let's get those shoulders down and back. All right, so we're going to take those hands all the way up. So if you get tired anywhere on these, that's okay. Just bring them down and take a rest if you need to. So we're going to bring those hands up. Now, last time we did our thumbs back. Today, we're just going to do palms forward. And we're going to knock or hammer. So it's like we're knocking on a door with both fists at once up over our head. And do your best to get those hands up there. Again, if you get tired, bring them on down. Neck area is relaxed. Good. Let's bring them down and take a quick rest. And remember, if you have water handy, go ahead and get a drink of water, whatever you need to. All right, we're going to bring it back up and we're going to wrist circle. So we're just circling one direction. Neck area is relaxed. If you just saw me drop my shoulders there. Good, and we'll reverse direction. So now our wrist circles go the other way. And remember, if you needed to stop and rest in between, that's fine. Just go ahead and do it. I know it's a lot of arms up. And last one. Good, and bring it in. So the next thing we're going to do is a squeeze and release. And again, you have to wash your hands if you have long nails, that you're not digging your nails in. And that's another thing. We'll rest for 1 second before we do that. One of the other things we really want to be careful with, well, for everybody really, but if you have diabetic neuropathies or any other issues, you really want to pay attention to your fingers and your toes. Want to make sure that you don't get any hangnails that rip or any kind of tears or things like that. So you want to really take nice good care of your cuticles and your nails and your hangnails. If you're in the garden, you want to make sure you're wearing gloves. If you're doing anything around the house that's entailing like maybe a lot of paperwork, you're going sorting through some papers, you just to be careful that you don't get paper cuts that you don't pay attention and take care of. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. So we're squeeze and open. Squeeze and open. And now this is a real active, I'm really spreading those fingers and I'm really squeezing that fist in. So if you need to, wear some gloves, protect your hands, or at least check them. If you have neuropathies, sometimes you can't feel those blisters or those hangnails and they can get to trouble. The other thing sometimes can be an issue, excuse me guys, is the because we can't always see our feet. Here we go, one more. And so maybe it's hard for you to get that foot up and really examine it. So maybe a mirror, you know, a good size mirror where you can hold the mirror up and look at your feet. Have someone else who comes to visit you that you trust to check your feet for you when you're out and about. Maybe go visit a daughter or somebody and they can check your feet for you. So got to pay attention to those feet. All right, so here we go. We're going to go into the lower body moves now. So the first one we're going to do, just kind of a bicycle move, just cycling it out. Now, if you want to, you can kind of lean back, but that's a little bit tough. That's a little excessive. But just think about doing a bicycle move in your chair. Obviously, you can do it standing, might be a little bit easier. And some of these exercises were designed to be done on the floor, but we could definitely modify them for the chair. And maybe in another class, I will do the floor version so you guys can see. All right, let's reverse direction. Bring it in towards you, or whatever you're doing, do the opposite. Bringing it towards you is a little bit easier. And I'm using my chair as a little bit of a support. Good. All right, so the next one's actually a little bit tougher. You're going to need to modify how far you bring your seat onto the chair seat. So I'm going to sit back so I have more of my thigh touching. And I'm just going to do some nice easy circles. Shoulders are down and back. I've got my abs engaged here. Good. I'm going to rest for a minute. And then I'm going to go the other direction. All right, that's a bit tough. Let's try the other leg, get a little break there. And reverse. Good. All right, we're going to just rest for one moment, and then we're going to do our opposite feet. We're going to flex and point. So once you get a little break there, you're going to reach out and do opposite foot pointing and flexing. Good. All right, I'm going to turn my chair a little bit sideways. So this one's going to be hard to do in the chair, and it's up to you. What we really want to do is bend and straighten both legs. That's really tough. So we're going to do it one at a time. You can sit up tall. You can sit back if you need to. So bending and flexing both legs. Hard to do in this position, so we're going to do them one at a time. Good. All right. Going back. So that's the basic breakdown for the upper and lower body lymphatic drainage classes. We're going to go ahead and do a little breathing here at the end. So if you want to go ahead and you need to leave, feel free. But we're just going to do some deep breathing. If you want to incorporate any stretches in, you certainly can. I might do a few stretches just because it's going to feel good. So it's up to you whether you want to just sit quiet or if you want to join in with some stretches, which are just a little bit extra. All right.
Lisa, can you do the head one where the neck is done?
Oh, yes. That was one of the stretches I was going to do. Okay. So we'll do that first then. Let's put that arm around the back. And we're going to bring that ear over to the shoulder. Now we usually hold these quite a bit longer. So 30 seconds is what we really want to do. That's a really long time. And I'm relaxing the shoulder that's away from my neck. Feeling a nice stretch. Good. Let's bring it back up to the center. This time when we take it down, we're going to allow it to come down and then we're going to look down toward the floor. So about 6 inches off from our knee. And that slightly moves the stretch. I can feel this all the way down into my back. So if you feel it there, you're not the only one. We have a lot of lymph nodes in our neck. We have a lot of lymph nodes everywhere. But we do have them in that narrow space of our neck. So it feels very good to stretch them out. The areas of our neck, when they get tight, let's bring it back and up. When our neck gets tight, we have such a small area there, everything can feel tight. It can radiate down a long way into our back. One of the things we talk about as personal trainers is figuring out when something hurts, it doesn't necessarily mean it's exactly that area. It could be the area immediately above where it's hurting, or it could be the area immediate below where it's hurting. That's actually where the problem is. All right, and back to the center. And we're going to bring it over and then look down. Good, and bring it back up to the middle. All right, let's take a deep breath up. Down. All right, we're going to just take some deep breaths here. Now, if you would like to do a little more neck work, you can bring your chin down. and up. And this one's more of a moving stretch. We don't necessarily want to hold the up and back one. Here, we want to keep that moving through so we don't have any vessel occlusion that can make us pass out. I like to, when I go up, lift my chin up. Get a fantastic neck stretch if you lift that chin up. Good. And we can always look over that shoulder. This is not one we tend to hold for 30 seconds, but it's good to look over that shoulder. You can hold it for 30 seconds if you want. It's just not as comfortable as some of the other stretches that we can hold. Good, and bring it back to the middle. All right, so now I'm just going to invite you to sit and relax. I'm just going to take 1 minute of deep breathing at your own pace. Eyes open or closed, whatever you prefer. Really, if you want to put the hand back on the chest and the belly. So you get that feeling of pulling it in and getting all that air out. Two more big breaths. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm glad we were able to get a copy of it so we could put it on the workout list so you guys have it for future reference. I hope you have a great day, and I may see some of you here on Zoom tomorrow, and I may see some of you on Thursday in person at Kingstown for yoga. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Okay.
Hi, Lisa.
Thank you.
Don't melt.
I'll try it. You guys either. Stay cool.
Lisa, what time is yoga on